Do you ever feel frustrated in your marriage? Well, if you do, you're not alone. I'm Leslie Dories, your marriage coach, creator of the Hero Husband Project, and owner of Foundations Coaching. And I've been thinking about frustration a lot for the last couple of weeks because one of the things that frustrates me is when I can't get my computer to the programs on my computer to do what they're supposed to do, and oh, I have to go and talk or chat or whatever with the people at the company. Um, One of the things I always tell technology companies is to speak slowly and use small words because it's very frustrating for me not to understand what's going on. And the truth of the matter is that there's a lot of stuff that goes on in your marriage that you might not understand why it's happening. And a lot of that is because there is a basic misunderstanding of what marriage is and how it works. The deal is that we meet somebody, we fall in love, we decide we want to spend the rest of our lives with them, we climb into the boat and we sail off into the sunset, right? Wrong. That person that we fell in love with suddenly is doing all kinds of weird things that we never understood and we don't understand why. That didn't happen in our families growing up and blah, 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 blah. It didn't happen with this relationship, blah, 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 whatever. But the truth is that frustration is one, it's a very common emotion. And two, it's about the differences between what you want or what you expect and what you're getting. And so there are a couple of different ways to deal with frustration. The first one is to first acknowledge that it's going on and then try to figure out what about the situation is so frustrating. What is the goal that you're trying to achieve that you're not being able to? One of my challenges with all this technology stuff is it's about the programs talking to each other. But of course, I can't put the two companies together. They have to go through me. And one, I don't like that. Two, part of the reason why I don't like that is because I don't fully understand what's going on. So it ends up being like a game of telephone. I'm trying to explain what one company is saying to me to another company without understanding how it works. That's my frustration. Some of the things that we get frustrated with our partners about is we don't understand why they hold a particular position or why they do things a certain way. Because it's different from the way that you would do it, right? And that's not necessarily a bad thing unless you make it one. I had a client many years ago who stopped cooking because her husband would tell her that she wasn't boiling the water right or chopping the onions correctly. And I said to him, well, is the water boiling? Are the onions chopped? And he said, yes. I said, so she obviously knows how to do it. She just does it differently from the way you would do it. And so when we get frustrated with our partners or with marriage, a lot of it is because we don't understand. You don't understand. Nobody has to go to marriage school. I've said before, and I will say again, that nobody has to take a relationship 101 class, and everybody should. And marriage is the most complicated relationship that exists on the planet. And so there are some real skills involved in learning how to deal with somebody that you've promised to love, honor, and cherish until death when they are driving you crazy, right? When they are doing things that you completely do not understand. And why can't they just do them the way that you do them? Well, the answer to that is because they're a different person. And more than likely, you're not a big fan when your partner tries to tell you how to do something. So the flip side probably isn't any more effective. And this is where frustration builds. So if you are frustrated in your relationship, take a step back and figure out what the source is. Is it just because my partner does something differently? Is it because I have no idea how they got to that conclusion from this set of facts? Have this conversation. And first you have to have the conversation with yourself, then have the conversation with your partner. once you have your frustration under control. Please don't have the conversation with them while you're in the midst of your frustration. Not helpful, right? But if you don't know how things work, most people don't. I mean, most people, marriage is not something that you want to learn on the street. You don't necessarily even, I mean, we all learn it by trial and error, but there are some things that you can do to make your marriage easier, more loving, more supportive, more things, but you've got to be able to deal with your frustration. So I invite you to get in touch with me. You can send me an email at leslie@foundationscoachingnc.com. You can put a DM down below in the comments. Um, you know, it's important to be able to get through these things, and I'd like to help you with that. So if you found this video useful, please share it with your friends. Please subscribe to the channel. And until next week, stay loving.